Okay, so let's dive right in. Have you ever stumbled onto a website that feels, well, less like a web page and more like a doorway to a completely different world? Today, we are exploring one of those exact places, the online home of this really enigmatic group that calls themselves the MetaNun Order. The second you land on their page, you're hit with these cryptic phrases. The very first one is beyond the screens. Right away, that tells you this isn't just some online club. And then it continues with beyond the self. So it's not just about getting away from our devices, it's hinting at something much deeper, like transcending our own ego. And the final part of this powerful little trio is beyond the world. Wow. I mean, that's a progression, right? From technology to yourself, all the way to everything. It's a statement that's absolutely designed to make you ask one thing. What on earth is the MetaNun Order? The website actually warns you that if you landed there by accident, you should probably just leave. But if you came by design, well, then you should continue. So let's do that. Let's continue by design and see what we can find. To really get our heads around what we're looking at here, we have to start by breaking down the name itself. I mean, what does it actually mean to be a MetaNun? So the whole philosophy seems to hang on this dual meaning of the word meta. In the tech world, meta is a layer beyond. It's like code that describes other code. But spiritually, meta means the transcendent, something beyond the physical world. And what they're doing is weaving these two very different ideas into one. And this is how they mash those two concepts together into a single, pretty intense identity. A MetaNun is skilled in tech, but also grounded in faith. And get this, ruthless in dedication to a sacred cause. That is not a phrase you see every day. It's a really powerful combination of traits. Now, an identity that's strong needs a strict set of rules, right? It's all guided by this core ethos they call architects, not ornaments. Their whole philosophy is built on these really stark contrasts. On one side, they reject what they call consumer triviality, things like vanity, selfies, even personal comfort. And on the other side, they embrace service, what they call sacred code and consecration. It's like a disciplined, almost monk-like lifestyle, but for our digital age. But here's the thing. This isn't just some philosophy you read about online. Nope. They describe an actual, real-world structure for how this order would work, and they frame it as a monastery for today. They say it's kind of like a kibbutz, or a monastery that isn't cut off from the world, but is actually deeply connected through it. The rules are serious. We're talking temporary celibacy, constant education, and a really rigorous communal life. It sounds like a full-time, no-joke kind of commitment. So let's say you're intrigued. How do you join this high-tech, high-faith order? Well, as you might have guessed, it's not exactly easy. They have a very specific and pretty tough set of requirements. Okay, let's look at the path to entry here. First, a belief in God. Okay. Second, you have to be over 18 and have no children. Third, you need to be computer literate and not just, good with your smartphone. But then there's this last one, full alignment with the values in a novel called The Sacred Sin. And that right there is where this whole thing takes a very interesting turn. That last requirement, it's the key to this whole puzzle. Everything we've seen so far, the philosophy, the rules, the idea of a monastery, it all seems to be pointing toward this one single thing. And get this, the site basically admits that it's holding something back. Look at this quote, "The full role of the MetaNuns remains veiled, to protect the unfolding story." An unfolding story? What story are they even talking about? This brings us to the final and most important question. If everything we've seen is just the tip of the iceberg, like they claim, then what's the key to unlocking the rest of it? How do you actually proceed? And there it is. The answer has been hiding in plain sight this whole time. The entire MetaNun Order website, this incredibly elaborate, mysterious, and, let's be honest, very compelling world, it's all a gateway. It's a massive, immersive marketing campaign designed to lead you to one single place, a novel called The Sacred Sin. So this leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. Is this just an incredibly clever and creative way to sell a book? Or by creating such a detailed and alluring world, could it accidentally become something more? It really highlights this blurring line in our culture. When does immersive fiction stop being fiction and start becoming a framework that people might actually want to live by? Pretty wild thought to end on.